These scientists want biotechnology legalized in Uganda. They argue that it's the only way to end Uganda's hunger problems.
The farmers have been suffering and the crop has been reducing drastically. We are not even getting 50% of the yields we used to get like 20 years ago, and the trend continues. So this is a very welcome technology on specific crops where conventional breeding has failed.
But their efforts are already facing stiff resistance from food rights activists. The activists worry that there could be contamination of indigenous seeds through cross-fertilization, and local farmers will become dependent on GMO seed producers for herbicides.
How do we make sure that the mismanagement in the cropping system doesn't end up in the ecosystem and we lose out on the fisheries? Okay? How do we put what safeguards are in there?
Genetically modified organisms are plants or animals whose genetic makeup has been modified in a laboratory using technology. According to the country's export promotion agency, the demand for Uganda's organic foods on the international market is steadily going up. Farmers now fear that if engineered crops are introduced, they could lose out on this comparative advantage and face stiff competition from countries already producing genetically modified organisms. The new bill will not only stop the cultivation, but also prohibit importation of genetically modified organisms in the country.
We should rather eat food as medicine, not really medicine as food, because remember, you want money, meaning you want to buy things that may not be of health to you. So I think the first priority should be to production of organic and consumption of organic foods.
The Ugandan government has already put in place an organic farming policy to guide farmers. But adopting genetically modified methods is a growing trend on the continent. In neighboring Kenya, attempts by the promoters to cultivate and import genetically modified organisms is in high gear. For Uganda, despite the varied perceptions, the time for trials could soon be over.
So I was in that video where I see they are trying to force African countries currently to get involved in the GMO seeds and to move away from organic farming to the Western GMO, genetically modified organism. So let me tell you, right now, currently, on the African continent, there's an explosion and a surplus of agricultural growth, organic, on the continent right now, explosion. So this is just another attempt of the West to control Africa. Because if you can control the way how people eat and you control the agricultural field, you can have sway and power over any nation. So if African countries move away from organically grown seeds to GMO seeds, after a while they can weaponize said seeds, like just as how they will weaponize the US currency. So if a country not listening to, say, let's say American policy, like especially when it comes to human rights, they always slap African countries with human rights, especially in this case, gays, LGBTQ. So if a country decide to enforce a law on that, what they will do now, they say, okay, since you're doing human rights violation, we're gonna withhold our GMO seeds from said country. That in turn will make the country become more susceptible to accept and do what they don't want because they are dependent on the West for seeds. And I don't want African countries to fall into this trap. Continue with the growth of homegrown seeds to expand the agricultural field. Do not get caught up in this GMO nonsense. And it surprised me, this scientist, and I'm most likely a Ugandan and he's black, trying to make the country move away from organically grown farming to genetically modified organisms. And this is a lose-lose situation for African countries, a win-win for Western countries. And there's a demand currently happening for African products because it tastes better, it's more fresh, and it's naturally grown. And this is what I've noticed. They are having these seedless fruits now, strawberries, melons, grapes, becoming seedless because of the GMO, right? But this is a two-way they're trying to control people two ways. By one, you have to use the seeds to become, for them to accept your products globally, or, not or, and when they sell those GMO seeds and they have seedless fruits, when you reap these fruits, you cannot replant them from the seeds you get it from the said farm, from the said plant, because what? It's seedless. So every way you think of it, they are going to have a grip on any country that use GMO. That's fully GMO seeds farming. Any country that does that, they're going to be fully controlled by the powers to be, because food is key and it's essential. It's the next thing to breathe in, and water is food. Without those three things, no one survives. So if they can withhold your food, they can't survive on the water and breathe and air alone. You have to eat. So it's just another way of crippling the African continent. So let's hope these African countries and these African presidents make sure this is not implemented on the continent of abandoning naturally grown products to go to GMOs, and they're using this to save hunger and all that. That's not the issue in Africa. The issue in Africa is not about feeding the hungry, it's about control. And not only that, there's so much waste going on right now because of the travel time from some secluded areas. The travel time to go to the market is so long and far. Some of the time the things spoil on the way. Cause I just saw where tomatoes have been waste by the tons, millions of tons of tomato wasted annually because of the travel time and the storage for it to travel to the city. And it's happening like this. So the more if we can cut out more and more of these long distance traveling, like for instance, like Uganda is going into the bullet train business. Kenya already have train lines. I can use the train to travel and carry these food products. Then we don't have to worry about no one walking with them on their head or on their shoulders and after that for fruits to get to where they need to be. So it's not about hunger, it's about control. So don't listen to these people when they're talking about GMO seeds is good for the country. It's not. No way, shape, or form. So anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section about Africa staying away from GMO products. And let me know what you think about this in the comment section. I don't know. Thanks for watching. You don't know. It's the WSSM podcast. Peace, one love. Boom.